Hey guys, welcome back to Talker. So, are you currently in the market looking for a subcompact crossover SUV that ticks the boxes of practicality, efficiency, reliability, and still offers that at a budget? Well, stick no further because today we're going to review the 2018 Honda Vezel or the 2018 Honda HR-V or the 2018 Honda CR-V as it is referred to as in the Chinese market. Well, stick by and let's review the 2018 Honda Vezel and let's see does it still stay at par with the competitors such as the Subaru XB and the Nissan Juke. Well, I'm your host Joseph Njoroge and stick by as we review the 2018 Honda Vezel. Now, what is the prima facie of the 2018 Honda Vezel? Looking at the 2018 Honda Vezel from front, Honda really tried to maintain a very simple, minimalistic, yet elegant design language. The design language that they chose for the 2018 Honda Vezel is known as the Exciting H design language. What is the Exciting H design language, if you may ask? This is a design language by Honda that emphasizes on mainly three things: high tension, high tech, and high touch. Okay, looking at the 2018 Honda Vezel from front, you can see that we have very nice LED projector headlamp that just illuminate the way for you, especially in the dark, ensuring that you have clear visibility on your way. Also, flowing down onto your headlights, you have very nice, aggressive, little sleek fog lights just to add a sense of luxury and refinement onto this car. Flowing onto your front grille, you also have a very nice chrome appendage engraved on your front grille just to add a sense of elegance and luxury onto this car. Also, flowing down onto your bumper, you also have very nice front slip for your bumper just to add a sense of sportiness onto this car. Well, let's pop under the hood of this 2018 Honda Vezel and let's see what powers up the 2018 Honda Vezel. What powers up the 2018 Honda Vezel? Under the hood of this car, you have a 1500cc natural aspirated hybrid engine that produces around 150 horsepower. The engine alone produces around 130 horsepower, but because this is a hybrid car, you also have electric motors that assist with powering this car. All of them give a combined power output of 150 horsepower and 160 Newton meters of torque. However, you're not only limited to the hybrid engine version of this car. On this car, depending on where you import from, you can have a variety of engine options. However, if you import from Japan, you'll have mainly three engine options. You'll have two petrol engine options and one diesel engine option. You have the 1500cc hybrid engine that is denoted by the code LEBH1 that produces around 150 horsepower and 160 horsepower. If you decide to go the non-hybrid way, you'll have a 1500cc non-hybrid engine that is denoted by the code L15B. The non-hybrid engine produces around 127 horsepower and give or take 155 Newton meters of torque. However, if you are diesel fanatic, you can decide also to go for the 1600cc diesel engine that is denoted by the code N16A3. The diesel engine produces around 120 horsepower and 220 Newton meters of torque. However, if you are lucky enough to import this car from the European market, you will also have two main engine options from the European market. You will have a 1500cc turbo engine that is denoted by the code L15B7 that produces around 190 horsepower, and you can also have a 1500cc turbocharged engine that is denoted by the code R1829 that produces around 141 horsepower and 174 Newton meters of torque. However, for the European market, you strictly get them in a manual gearbox. However, if you're importing this car from the Japanese market, you can also get it in either a CVT gearbox for the non-hybrid engine, and you can also get a 7-speed dual clutch transmission for the hybrid engine. However, if you go for the diesel engine, you only get it with a 6-speed manual transmission gearbox. However, how is power delivered to the front wheels of this car or the all wheels of this car? This car can come with two main drivetrains. You can only have a front wheel drivetrain like what we have today, and it will be noted by the code RU1. However, if this car comes with an all-wheel drivetrain, it will have the code RU2. So, how can it be delivered to the front wheels or to the all wheels of this car? Either using a CVT gearbox if it is a non-hybrid, and you can also have a dual clutch transmission if it is a hybrid vehicle. I hope you're all together with the drivetrains and the engine options that can come with this car. So let's hop inside of the 2018 Honda Vezel and let's see what packs in the interior of the 2018 Honda Vezel. So once you step at the interior of the 2018 Honda Vezel, you can tell that this car has been trained in technology, just as the mantra that Honda sticks with the exciting H design language. The exciting H design language narrows down to three main things: high tension, high tech, and high touch. Well, when we're going to be discussing the interior of the 2018 Honda Vezel, we're going to start on our driver's hand side as we progress into the passenger's hand side. So starting with the driver's hand side, you can tell that Honda really maintained a very simple, minimalistic yet elegant design language. For the steering wheel, Honda decided to engrave it in a very nice leather, just to remind you that you are sitting in a car that has been prioritized for luxury and elegance. Also, this car comes with a multifunctional steering wheel, meaning on the left hand side you can decide whether to choose your to choose the source which you want to listen to music. You can decide to choose radio, you can decide to listen via USB, and you can also decide to listen via Bluetooth. Also, you can adjust your volume or adjust up your volume or adjust down the volume of the media you're listening to. Also, this car you can be able to switch through the songs that you are listening via your steering wheel. Also, on the right hand side of the steering wheel, you also have your buttons that will be able to assist you when you are using cruise control. Here you can adjust the distance of the car you're following, whether you want to be too close or far away from the car which you're following. Also, this car comes with buttons where you can answer your call or decline your calls, and you also have voice command on this car. Also, following onto the steering wheel, you also have a very nice steering wheel. It is not large nor small, but it's just the required size that when you're driving this car, you can be able to comfortably grip it and you'll be able to cruise nicely with this car. Also, onto the right hand side of the driver, you also have buttons such as eco mode, because this car utilizes something that Honda called the Atkinson cycle. What is the Atkinson cycle, if you may ask? The Atkinson cycle by Honda is a technology that delays the opening and closing of the exhaust valves, just to allow the car to burn all the fuel rather than wasting the fuel. So when you put econ mode, you can be able to utilize some of the features that Honda has placed on this car to enable you to save more fuel. Also, on the buttons on the side of the driver, you also have your buttons such as the traction controller. You can decide to turn it on or turn it off, and also you have where you can adjust your side mirrors to be closing automatically for you, and you also have your proximity on or proximity off buttons that you can either turn them on or turn them off, and you also have your lane departure on or lane departure off buttons where you can decide to switch them off completely, especially in Kenyan roads where you find some of the roads have not been clearly marked. These buttons come in very handy. Also, on the panel for your door cards, you also have a very nice panel engraved in soft touch material, just to remind you that you are sitting in a car that prioritizes elegancy and comfort for their passengers. Also, on the door cards, you also have where you can control your windows electronically, and where you can fold or unfold your mirrors electronically. Moving on to the center console, you also have a very nice infotainment system. It's not the biggest, not the smallest, or it's not the most fanciest, but it still just gets the job done, because Honda really maintains a minimalistic design language. Following on to your center console, you also have a very nice panel for your AC control. However, for the Honda, they really love touchscreen for their AC controls. However, I'm not a fan of touchscreen AC, but you can tell me at the comment section, do you prefer your conventional buttons and dials for your AC controls, or you are comfortable with the touchscreen panel? Following onto your center console, you also have a piano black engraving around it, just to add a sense of elegance and refinement onto this car. Also, you have a gear shift knob that really looks very futuristic as well, because high touch, high tech, and high tension, which is the mantra for Honda, really tries to bring a futuristic vibe onto this car. Also, the gear knob is a kind of shift by wire like that for BMW, because if you want to engage into reverse, you'll just move it to the right and up. If you want to engage into neutral, move it to the middle, and if you want to engage into drive, you move it into the far right and put it down, just like you will do maybe in a BMW. Also, in this case, you do not have your conventional P, R, N, and D on your gear lever. However, for the park, you also have a button for parking, just to add a sense of futuristic vibe onto it. Also, you have sport mode on this car, because unlike other cars, Honda really tried to maintain performance as well, because this car, the hybrid version of this car, comes with a dual clutch transmission, meaning if you put this car into sport mode, you can also use the paddle shifters which are on your steering wheel to engage or disengage the gears if you put it into sport mode. Unlike in other cars where they slap you with the paddle shifters, but you have a CVT gearbox, which is not the best combination for that use. Also, you have your electronic park brake where you can engage it or disengage it via a click of a button. Also, you have your brake hold button, and we'll keep on repeating about brake hold and auto hold feature for those who do not know. Brake hold or auto hold in some other cars is a feature where if you're on a hill, you can press the brake hold or auto hold, and the car will hold itself there and prevent rollback if you are on a hill. Also, continuing on to your center console, you also have a place where you can put your cup holders, just to add a sense of convenience, especially if you are doing road trips on this car. And also on the center console, you also have somewhere where you can put maybe coins or a phone, and which also doubles up as a handrest from the driver. I think Honda really maintained a simple, minimalistic, elegant design language that just gets the job done. On your dashboard, you have also very nice soft touch material just to add on a sense of refinement and elegance onto this car. Also on the door cards, the soft touch material still flows just to make this car not feel cheap as maybe some other brands. Also, the seats really tuck in very well, and these seats are cloth seats. However, for some versions of this car, maybe the top trims, which we'll talk about if you go to the rear, some Honda Vezel come with either half leather or full leather. However, for the base trim like what we have today, you only get cloth seats. However, they really tuck in very well, and they are very, very comfortable. However, for the steering wheel, it is a telescopic steering wheel, meaning you can put it tilt it downwards or upwards. However, you can also tilt it inwards and outwards, just to make you feel comfortable and get the desired position which you want to drive in. However, for the seats, you have manual controlled seats, unlike in other cars, so you can get electronically controlled seats. However, for the top trims of this car, you can get some that come with electronically controlled seats for the driver and the passenger. However, I think the interior of this car is very simple, minimalistic, and just gets the job done. Also on the top here, you also have your very nice sun visor, and you also have your reading lights here, and for the makeup, for the ladies who like applying makeup. And also you also have your very nice reading lights on top here, and you also have mirrors that has also the reading light as well. So let's hop on to the rear and let's see what the 2018 Honda Vezel has to offer at the rear, and let's see, is it comfortable as some of the subcompact crossover SUVs, because a lot of subcompact crossover SUVs are not comfortable at the rear. Well, let's hop at the rear and let's see what it has to offer as the 2018 Honda Vezel. So once you step at the interior of the 2018 Honda Vezel at the rear, you can really appreciate it that despite it having a sloping roof, you still have adequate space. As you can see, if this was my driving position, you can tell that I have adequate knee room as well as ample headroom, meaning this car you can comfortably seat 3 passengers without having some compromises on the space. However, let's continue the review for the interior at the back. At the back, you also have plenty of storage space. At the back, you can store your documents here. You also have a cup holder for maybe one of the passengers, and also you have an armrest where if you're hauling 2 passengers, they can share the armrest here. Also, this car comes with anchor fixed points for both left and right passengers. It's meaning if you have toddlers, you can comfortably house them around as you enjoy the cruise. Also, this car also has some very nice soft touch material on the door cards, just to remind you that this is a subcompact crossover SUV that has been tailored for people who value elegance and luxury. Also, as you can see at the rear, you also have very nice space, because this car also has a very nice flat floor. Unlike in other cars, if this car came as an all-wheel configuration, you'll have a transmission tunnel that will house maybe your propeller shaft. But for this car, you have a flat floor, meaning if you have 3 passengers, they'll be comfortable as if they were sitting in a car that has 2 passengers. So let's check the side profile of this car as we progress at the rear of this car, and let's see what parks at the side profile and what parks at the rear of this car. But generally speaking, from the rear seats, I can tell you that they are very comfortable and you have adequate space for your passengers. So let's check the side profile as we progress at the rear of the 2018 Honda Vezel. So moving at the side profile of the 2018 Honda Vezel, you can tell that this car sits rather high as compared to maybe other subcompact crossover SUVs. This car sits on size 17 alloy wheels that come as standard for all Honda Vezels. On your front you have your conventional McPherson struts, and at the rear you have your conventional torsion beam suspended on coil springs. This car uses a very distinctive design language for the side profile. As you can see, it encompasses a subcompact design language engraved with it with a coupe design language as well. So you have also a very this design language really tries to bring out a distinctive silhouette for the 2018 Honda Vezel, because as you can see it has a very nice sloping roof line, just to add a sense of distinctiveness and giving it a distinctive persona, especially for the design language for the side profile. So let's hop into the rear of the 2018 Honda Vezel and let's see what parks at the rear of the 2018 Honda Vezel. So when it comes at the rear of the 2018 Honda Vezel, you can tell that the exciting edge design language not only stops at the front and the interior, but also is progressed at the rear of this car. At the rear you also have a very nice subtle roof spoiler, just to add a sense of luxury and refinement to this car. Also the spoiler gives us a kind of sporty vibe for this car. So this car at the rear comes with very nice LED taillights that just pop up and make this car look a little bit bold, especially at the night. At the back you also have your Vezel badging, and if you cross over onto the right hand side you have your hybrid badging, just to remind you that this is a hybrid subcompact crossover SUV. So on matters of space and practicality, as you can see, the 2018 Honda Vezel packs in adequate space for 5 passengers. So if you are using this car for maybe your family and you have 5 passengers, you can comfortably haul goods for 5 passengers. So in terms of practicality and efficiency, I think that the 2018 Honda Vezel ticks those 2 boxes. Now when it comes to matters value for money, this car currently goes for. However, what are some of the competitors that this car compete with? You have the Peugeot 2008, which I did a full review and I'll attach a link on the video. And you also have vehicles like the Nissan Juke, the Subaru XV, and also maybe the Mazda CX-3. However, if you compare those cars, I think the 2018 Honda Vezel stands out among those cars, because for the 2018 Honda Vezel you have a hybrid version, while for the other cars you do not have a hybrid version of those competitors. So if you like the video, like, share, comment and subscribe. And also if you like to come and check this car and also view other units, you can find us at where you can pay us a visit and you'll be able to see other units which we have in store. So like the video, share, comment and subscribe. Until next time, adios.